Alright, so we got a video here. Bulma like Goku way more than you remember by Merryweather Designs. That's a cool name, by the way. And I always thought about this for real, cause I don't know if I'm tripping, but I feel like I remember Bulma saying somewhere in the anime and maybe even in the manga. I don't remember the context, but she was like, Goku was someone she always loved since she was a kid or something like that. I really forgot the context, but hey, he'll probably address it. So let's just get into what he has to say.
All right, you all saw the title in the thumbnail, so here it is. Dragon Ball hot take. Hear me out. Bulma settled for Vegeta because she couldn't have Goku.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's right, I stand on that one. I don't care if you're booing, I'm a swamp monster. I like this shit.
Okay, when you think about it, Bulma has a type, and it was Yamcha, and Goku's very similar in build and physique and look to Yamcha, and Vegeta's basically just anti-hero Goku, but a little shorter, different hairstyle, but same kind of vibe. I kind of see where he's going so far.
Just hear me out. I've been thinking about this for years, and I finally decided to cobble together everything that made me come to this conclusion. So, sit down and take a listen. I'm gonna prove this to you. Yeah, Bulma is really into Goku, but we didn't notice. So, romance and Dragon Ball. Yeah, this is gonna be a weird one, but hear me out. While this franchise intentionally avoids it because Toriyama never was comfortable with writing it, with what I'm about to show you, it clearly points to a sort of author's realization on Toriyama's part that he missed an incredible opportunity by putting Goku and Chi-Chi together just because it'd be funny. The fact that this idea of Bulma being interested in Goku on some level comes up multiple times well after Goku is married leads me to believe that perhaps Toriyama realized what he missed out on in hindsight. So, Bulma's feelings toward Goku are implied to be quite complicated based on what we're shown in all of Dragon Ball and Z. From the end of Dragon Ball and onward, these feelings have never really been truly platonic. In fact, Toriyama's editor during the original Dragon Ball's run even recommended putting them together at the end of Dragon Ball, and if he listened to his editor back in the day, it would have opened the way for some incredible story beats in Explain Why. You should already know. Anyway.
Yeah, bro, their kid would have been way smarter, way more powerful, and it would have probably made a more interesting story, I can't lie.
This video is going to explain why Goku probably should have married Bulma instead. But first, we'll start with the basics. So for those of you who either didn't watch Dragon Ball or only caught Z during its heyday on Toonami, you may have missed a couple of nuances that I'm about to point out. Here's the thing. Goku and Bulma have known each other for years, and even when they were kids, she'd come to rely on and implicitly trust
Bulma was
Goku
literally his first
to come
friend.
through for everyone when it counted most. So when that scruffy looking kid she'd come to trust and rely on shows up to the 23rd World Tournament looking like this, well...
Maybe you can't tell who I am because of this thing on my head. I'll take it off so I'll look a little more like me. Who else but me has hair like this?
Lady. Balloon.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Bulma! What happened? It looks like your lips are bleeding.
No, it's called lipstick, you moron! It really is Goku.
Goku, you'd better hurry up and sign in.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'll be right back.
It's unbelievable. Who would have thought Goku could grow up to be so tall and handsome?
Oh shit. Nah, puberty did hit that nigga Goku like a ton of bricks, like truck coon straight up.
Just wait. I'm sure Yamcha will look even better.
So not only does Bulma find Goku attractive, but he's
The
also
side eye is
kindest,
crazy.
most reliable person that she knows. What's going on internally here is that she is reassessing her already close relationship with Goku and now dealing with a new layer that is physical attraction to him now that he's grown up.
Whoa.
If she'd had just a little bit more than like a day to process her feelings, she probably would have taken a shot with Goku. However, their relationship stays where it is, and that's that. You know, Goku gets married and that's the end of it. No, not really. This happens again in Dragon Ball Z.
Come on, we've got work to do.
Let's go.
Goku's here. And you know, for the first time, I'm starting to realize how handsome he's become. Sure, Yamcha's still sort of my boyfriend, but a girl can wonder.
Wow.
Maybe I missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, you heard that right.
The crazy thing is Bulma definitely would have bagged him because Goku basically just went for the first girl who was like, I like you, which is like most guys, to be honest. Toriyama nailed it with that one, but it's kind of crazy to think it could have really happened.
This scene on Namek is also in the manga. That's not filler. Toriyama wrote that in himself. He put it in the final draft of his chapter before he handed it in to Shonen Jump. I think even he realized in hindsight that he should have put Goku and Bulma together instead of bringing back Chi-Chi. Like, it begs the question, why would an author that has openly refused to even touch romance put this in the story? While Bulma was a bit of a gooner during this stretch of the story, her thoughts on Goku are shown in a more serious light than, say, how she felt attracted to Zarbon.
It's not even that bad. Like, compared to Krillin, Yamcha, Master Roshi, she doesn't even scratch the level 0 of Gooner.
Which was mainly played for laughs. Like, this wasn't played for laughs. It's a pensive moment when the character is alone. Toriyama could have just gone to the next scene and got on with the Namek saga, but he went out of his way to draw Bulma daydreaming about Goku and lamenting that she never got a chance to be with him. You gotta ask, like, why is he bringing this back now of all times? It's not like it was foreshadowing anything, since Bulma doesn't get close to Vegeta until quite a while after this. It's because even he realized that Goku and Bulma would have been the ultimate power couple of Dragon Ball. They would have had the ability to move the plot forward together in a near infinite number of ways. And I think this moment was him acknowledging the missed opportunity as a writer. But, you know, as Bulma said, she missed the boat on that one. This is a continued through line from the end of Dragon Ball. She straight up says to herself that she missed the boat on Goku, and has a character moment that insinuates that not taking a shot with Goku when she had the chance is one of her personal regrets in life. Bulma has some pretty serious feelings toward Goku as a result of their adventures in OG Dragon Ball, and they most likely don't get resolved until the end of the Cell saga, after Cell is killed. It's safe to say that because of the fact that her relationship with Yamcha was on life support around this time, and afterward with this scene on the Namek saga, with Vegeta, his relationship with Bulma is extremely rocky until that 7-year time skip after Cell. Keep in mind that Vegeta only really gave a shit about future Trunks because they spent a year training together. What he has with Bulma took time to develop off screen because Vegeta was in his deadbeat era when Trunks was born, so the two of them weren't exactly close, not for a while. So with that said, I'm going to show you the third piece of evidence that leads me to believe that Bulma's feelings toward Goku were pretty serious.
I really hope it's that clip or that panel that I'm thinking of, bro. I promise you, she like explicitly says it, bro.
Watch this.
First, okay? Why don't you just concentrate on healing up for a couple of weeks, and then we'll worry about getting the antidote to Goku.
Gohan's dad, huh? Do you really think he's that strong? Strong enough to make a difference?
Oh, yes. He can make a difference, all right. But it's not just how strong he is, Trunks. Goku has this incredible feeling about him. When you're with him, you just know everything's going to be fine. And it always is.
Man, sounds good. I can't believe that I'll get to see Gohan again. I'll even get to meet my dad and see what he's like.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't expect too much out of your father, dear.
Yeah, the reason I chose this scene is because we get to see Bulma's thoughts on Goku laid out plainly and in an easily digestible format, specifically without the variable of her relationship with Vegeta in the picture. We get her raw thoughts on Goku during the Cell and Android sagas. It's important to be able to look at these thoughts in a vacuum for the sake of this video, and this scene from the Future's Trunks story does just that. These are her thoughts on Goku in their purest form. It further lends credence to what I said earlier about how much Bulma loves and admires Goku. The only reason this relationship is platonic is because Goku married Chi-Chi. Otherwise, yeah, Trunks would have been Goku's son instead. She even dismisses Vegeta when Trunks asks about him, which, as mentioned before, is a snapshot of her thoughts on both Vegeta and Goku at this particular point in the story.
Right, and it's interesting because it's like directly in juxtaposition. Like, she talks about Goku for like 2 straight minutes, and then like just 10 seconds later, she takes 5 seconds to be like, don't expect too much from that nigga Vegeta. The comparison is crazy.
At that time, Bulma didn't take Vegeta very seriously as a potential partner, or husband even, or father, really. being logical here for a moment, this Bulma never got to know Vegeta in that 7-year gap after Cell died. So this in fact proves that their relationship was not great during that stretch of time. I mean, like, hey, even Team 4-Star kind of touches on this.
So then, where's Daddy?
Unfortunately, our last conversation was... You are such an unbelievable asshole!
You know, you're being bitchier than usual today, and not in a hot way.
You got me pregnant, you idiot!
How is that my fault?
You said you were wearing protection!
I was wearing my armor!
You're a moron.
Well, what do you expect me to do about it?
What you're going to do is help me raise our child! That was a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I know that was a fan comedic dub, but it speaks to the issue here. They clearly had some work to do, and that work got done during the 7-year time skip.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, that's not the worst interpretation. Like, Team 4-Star is a surprisingly faithful adaptation of DBZ to the point where, like, you could really compare it to Kai. They were literally in Kai because of how faithfully they adapted the anime.
Which is why I say that Bulma was probably more into Goku than Vegeta at this time, since he's the only other person she seems to show interest in. And given what future Bulma says, she clearly has a lot more respect for Goku than she does for Vegeta, at least during this period of the story. Now, to finish off this section of the video, I want to point out one more scene to you, and while it is filler, I will tell you to pay attention to how Bulma reacts, alright? So, watch this.
It's just not the same without him, is it?
Gosh, you really care for Goku. Hey, I know. How about we trade mates? Vegeta for Goku. Vegeta's not as sweet, but he's certainly more dependable. I think it evens out.
Hey, I'm available, ladies. What do you say,
Nigga, shut your ass up, nigga.
We're talking an even trade. We don't want to downgrade.
The disrespect, bruh.
Now, Dragon Ball fans, I know y'all are bad at this, but there's this thing called subtext, okay? Look at Bulma's face, dude. She's legitimately thinking about it
facts.
right now. You know why? Take into consideration everything I've shown you up until this point. Yeah, sure, she's like moved on with her life. She's with Vegeta now, but she's still thinking about all those years she spent being interested in Goku, like seriously interested in him. And I'm gonna approach this again from a writer and animator standpoint. Why have her specifically react this way when you could just have her laugh it off with everybody else?
Like, she's literally the only person that didn't laugh.
This is clearly supposed to be a joke on Chi-Chi's part, right? No, Bulma's not joking. She's actually thinking about it right now. You know, sometimes I sit down and wonder what Dragon Ball would be like if the character writing wasn't so simplistic. There's legit potential in it for an incredible action/drama series, especially if Goku is unceremoniously dragged into a marriage with Chi-Chi, but Bulma is still interested in him like that. Like peak drama, the best kind, the messy kind, but hey, that's not Toriyama's style, and I still very much enjoy what he was able to give us during his career.
Facts.
However, when I sat back and started thinking about it, as I mentioned earlier in the video, Dragon Ball as a whole would have been massively improved if Toriyama just took the easy route and had Bulma start dating Goku at the end of the original Dragon Ball, which we'll delve into in my next video because I wrote some scenarios out and they're way too long to put in this one. But since
I
you're
would
still
love
watching,
to watch that.
We'll get into the first one so I can give you a taste of what I'm cooking here. The chef is in the kitchen. Writing-wise, the best saga of Dragon Ball gets elevated even higher as a result of Bulma marrying Goku between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball.
Hold up, is he about to say Cell Saga is the best saga? Because on God, I'm about to sub to this guy and follow him on every platform.
See, now Trunks is Goku's son and is going back in time not just to save the world, but to save his family.
My guy, he knows what the best saga is.
Think about it. This version of Trunks lost his father, his brother, his friends, and his world to the android conflict. On top of that, the future Trunks story hits harder when Gohan and Trunks are brothers, and even harder still when Gohan is Bulma's oldest son. Bulma and Gohan still went to Namek and survived all that mess only for Gohan to die in his 20s at the hands of the androids. Bulma would have some really great character moments as a result of her losses, specifically future Bulma. And on top of that, it closes the loop of the android saga and tightens the connections between the characters, because instead of having to just pair Vegeta and Bulma up just to get Trunks, the Super Saiyan from the future, now that kid is Goku's other son. It tightens the loop because the android saga is a butterfly effect of what Goku did to the Red Ribbon Army back in the original Dragon Ball. So like I said, it closes the loop. And it's also way more dramatic. Bulma has to wrestle with the task of saving her family, but she's so desperate that she has to send her only remaining son back in time just so they have a shot, just after she lost her oldest son to this same conflict. That creates a lot of room for character drama, which is something that Dragon Ball seriously needed more of. And it's not just the character drama and narrative opportunities that come from putting Goku and Bulma together, it also creates room for some much improved relationships between characters. The event of Goku and Bulma getting together butterfly affects the Dragon Ball relationships to push other characters toward people they are better suited towards. So let's take Chi-Chi as an example. She wants to live a more humble, straightforward life, and of the married men in Dragon Ball, Krillin is best suited to give her that. He doesn't have Saiyan instincts and was raised in a more conventional manner, so Krillin would have a better idea of how human relationships actually work.
Actual facts,
Also,
bro.
their personalities would bounce off of each other better, and I don't think Chi-Chi would get as mad at Krillin all the time, unlike with Goku, who's always off on some adventure. It's really not that complex considering what Chi-Chi wants and in turn what Krillin wants as well. Krillin just wants a girlfriend, and Chi-Chi just wants a regular husband. She'd be a lot less stressed out too, and we'd get to see a more mellowed out take on Chi-Chi's archetype that might make her more interesting to watch, actually. Not being able to settle down with Goku would make her a more permanent member of the Z Fighters and would end up pushing her toward Krillin, whom she'd be training with quite regularly to help protect the Earth. They'd eventually grow together during the time between the end of Dragon Ball and the Cell Saga, because keep in mind that the other men in the group, you got Yamcha, who's apparently a womanizer or something, and Tien is either gay or asexual from what we've been shown. He's just not interested in relationships like that. Now, to address the last bit here.
I mean, was he into Launch? Am I true? No, Launch liked Tien, and I think Tien was just like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to go work on my shoulders some more.
I think it's poetic for Vegeta to develop feelings for the first woman to kick his ass. Think about it.
This would have been a fight. This would have been fire. I'm not going to lie. If Vegeta had got with 18 after all of that, now that would have been interesting, nigga. That would have truly been interesting. And their kid would have been strong as shit, bro.
And is that for a Saiyan? It's literally perfect. Also, it does this really awesome thing where it accelerates Vegeta's character arc, because in order to get 18's attention, he'd have to come down a few notches and humble himself to actually approach her. The Cell Saga is about Vegeta learning humility because he enabled a lot of the bad things that happen in the Cell Saga. And by having him catch feelings for 18 and then fail to protect her from Cell in some way would, again, accelerate his character arc as to who he is in the Buu Saga. It would happen in the Cell Saga. And then on top of that, their dynamic would be really interesting. 18 is a very irreverent person, and she wouldn't indulge Vegeta's arrogance or status as alien royalty. He'd have to learn to talk to her more respectfully. Think about it, their personalities are actually very complementary. Vegeta is hot-blooded, serious, and prideful, while 18 is calm, sarcastic, and ambitious. This is a good example of an opposites attract dynamic where you stick two characters together to balance each other out. Also, Vegeta would get a lot out of being with someone he could also train with and build a family with at the same time. And in the Buu Saga, they'd probably have jobs at Capsule Corp by then. I could see Bulma hiring Vegeta to be the head of security and giving him some subordinates to train up and boss around, and 18 would handle the administrative side of corporate security, and they'd both be paid really well because Capsule Corp has a monopoly on that capsule tech, and a lot of other companies would want to steal it from them. It makes for a much more interesting dynamic with all the characters involved if you just shuffle the women around, one space. Chi-Chi can focus on being a housewife if she wants, or she could continue being a Z fighter and be more integrated into that story.
And she would have been way more happy. She just would have been way less stressed out with having to deal with everything she doesn't like about Goku. Like, does she even like Goku? I think it's just that they were promised to each other, and she's such like a traditional country hick. Cause like the joke is that Goku's a country hick and also Chi-Chi's like a country hick. So like she literally was just pledged herself to him. So that's why the gag was that they ended up getting married. But like she doesn't actually really even like Goku that much, except that they have like 2 kids together. And I'm sure she loves him like in the story and shit like that. But like I get where bro is coming from. He's really cooking with this scenario.
Whatever. Android 18 gets a partner that actively pulls her into conflicts because Vegeta's right there with Goku when shit hits the fan. So
this would have just been, now this is the one that's really interesting to me. This just would have had such a interesting effect on Vegeta's character. I don't know if it would have been better or worse, but it definitely would have been interesting. Like if they ever do like an alternate reality, which multiverse is so done to death, but like DBZ literally did it in the 80s with like the time travel shit and stuff like that. If they ever do something like that again, I hope it's a scenario like this, because this would be so interesting, bro.
So she'd be there too more often. And because Bulma is attached to Goku, she gets pulled into whatever he gets pulled into by virtue of being his wife, and she can build and create things that help them do what they need to do.
Bro, that would be
just as
so
she does
hard
in canon, but now, since she's closer to the lead character,
Facts.
she gets even more relevance in the story. And to elaborate, Goku and Bulma's dynamic would be a lot more functional than Goku and Chi-Chi's. Bulma is headstrong and is very blunt when it comes to expressing what she wants. On top of that, she's already known Goku for about 6 years at the end of the original Dragon Ball.
That's what I'm saying. The main one is like they've literally been best friends. Like that was Goku's first friend, and they're basically best friends outside of like Krillin, which is basically just because they trained together. They were literally like monks together type shit.
So she'd have a good idea of what it'd be like to be in a relationship with him, and as a result, Goku's idiosyncrasies as a husband would be expected and even tolerated.
Yeah.
Doesn't like what he's doing and tell him how he could correct it. Of all the women in Dragon Ball, Bulma is actually best suited to deal with Goku, and Goku in turn would become a better husband just by being with Bulma, since he'd learn a lot about human relationships and the level of commitment that they require, whereas Chi-Chi would just get angry with him. It probably took Chi-Chi years to figure out what kind of person Goku was and how he functioned, and it probably took him quite a while to figure out how to be a husband, something that Bulma would get him up to speed on much quicker, especially if she could turn.
This picture goes hard. Gohan with the purple hair. I wonder if it would be more like Trunks's, like long and coming down type shit, bro. This scenario just goes hard, bro. The Capsule Corp Gi, bro. That shit goes hard, bro.
Vegeta, of all people, into a decent man. So, now to get on to how this would change the Android and Cell saga, which will be a topic for our next video. This one's getting long enough as is, so if you'd like to see what I've come up with, consider liking this video and subscribing to get
I will
notified
definitely be doing
when
all
this
of
video
that.
sequel drops. I'd like to grow this channel to encompass not just discussions on popular media, but also my own stories and content. But in order to get to that point, I need to grow my presence on YouTube. So, I hope you join our community, and I hope to see you next time, whenever that is.
Very W video from Merryweather Designs. I will definitely be subbing, liking on my main account type shit. I hope you guys will do the same, because this will not be my last video that I'm reviewing from, bro. I love stuff like this. I'm a weeb. I promise you. Don't let my look or the way I talk or my career fool you. I am 100% a weeb. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Peace.